Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and welcome to From the Rabbi's Bookshelves. My book today is a controversial and rare book called The Dignity of Difference by Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Sacks, now Lord Sacks. This book was published in 2002 and was a response to 9/11, 2001, the attack on the Twin Towers in New York and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., which seemed to bring to a head and a crisis a clash between different civilizations, different cultures, different religious movements around the world. And the subtitle is How to Avoid the Clash of Civilizations. Rabbi Sacks is trying to give a path towards avoiding some terrible, terrible confrontation and catastrophe. This was a book, I think, aimed more towards the general reader than the Jewish reader, as some of Rabbi Sacks' books are, and it got into a lot of trouble. This is the first edition. I bought this book as soon as it was published, but when other people saw the book and read it, they found some of the passages very troubling because it seemed to indicate that there was nothing particularly special or better about Judaism than anything else. Let me read you one passage which may have caused them some concern. God, the creator of humanity, having made a covenant with all humanity, then turns to one people and commands it to be different in order to teach humanity the dignity of difference. Biblical monotheism is not the idea that there is only one God and therefore one truth, one faith, one way of life. On the contrary, it is the idea that unity creates diversity. This idea that there wasn't just one truth but many truths, and that Judaism was not the only valid religion, sent shockwaves through the Orthodox Jewish world. People found this to be a very challenging and problematic concept, and therefore there were condemnations of the book. It was dismissed as heresy, and Rabbi Sacks made certain corrections or changes or amendments to the book before it was published in a second edition. This is still a first edition containing his original thoughts, and in fact he published sometime later a very long document which showed all his sources and all the reason he said what he said. From my point of view, I think it's definitely the case that while we can say that Judaism is the authentic view of the world in the Jewish view, we've always believed that people of whatever background, whatever faith, can have an authentic relationship with God, can be saintly people, can be pious people, can be people in profound and authentic connection with the divine. I think that's the point that Rabbi Sacks is making, rather than any more narrow theological point that maybe Christianity is somewhat right or Islam is somewhat right. So I'm very pleased to have a first edition still. If anyone wants to borrow it, they can have it on a short-term loan. Thanks for joining.